Welcome into the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking some recruiting updates with you guys. A couple 5-stars, a couple guys who are also probably going to be 5-stars when it's all said and done. Also, want to talk about a guy that Alabama visited with yesterday via the transfer portal, and also one other player who entered the transfer portal who could fit that same bill of an Alabama target as well. As of right now, there's been no reporting on that player of Alabama being interested, but I do think it would make a lot of sense for Alabama to possibly pursue him. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that sub button for me. We are getting really close to really official recruiting season now. Official visits are coming up just here in a couple of weeks, so do not miss out. We're going to keep you guys updated on all things Alabama football recruiting, so do not miss out. Make sure you guys hit that sub button for me right now at youtube.com/@RollTideTV. All right, the first guy that I want to talk about today is running back E.J. Crowell. Now, he is likely to move up his commitment date. He posted on Twitter last night that was going to be the case after a couple of months ago he announced that he would be making his commitment announcement on December 31st. Seems like there's been a lot of buzz with Alabama right now, and it does also seem like he is getting closer to committing during the summertime, probably after those official visits, rather than that original date of December 31st. Crowell was a guy that reclassified from that 2027 recruiting class, and he's kind of bounced back and forth from 5-star to 4-star, 5-star back to 4-star, 32 player overall right now in the 247 Sports Composite Rankings. So right there in that 5-star range, I would assume he's going to be a guy when it's all said and done. He is probably going to be a 5-star. He has 4 official visits set up already right now for the summertime. Georgia on May 30th, Texas on June 6th through the 8th, Auburn June 13th through the 15th, and then Alabama has the last official visit here for E.J. Crowell, June 20th through the 27th. Now, I do think it is of note that Steve Wilfong of On3 has also put in an official prediction for Crowell to land with the Crimson Tide, so we'll see what happens. I would assume if he's going to move up his commitment date, it's probably going to be soon after that Alabama visit there. We're just going to have to wait and see. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video, what is the percent chance that Alabama lands E.J. Crowell in their 2026 recruiting class? It's the pinned comment of today's video, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, that is totally fine. Ignore it. Get down there. Let me know what you guys think. Scale it 1 to 100. All right, the next player is 5-star athlete Brandon Arrington. He announced yesterday that he will make his commitment on July 5th, and he also dropped his top 5. You've got Penn State, Texas A&M, Alabama, and USC, and Oregon as well on there, and he's also got those official visits set up for there. Alabama right in the middle there, June 13th. So while you would probably like to have one of those later dates, really have that, recency excitement for that, maybe Alabama can still, stay in there because USC and Oregon right now have gotten a lot of buzz when it comes to Brandon Arrington. But I will say he is from California, and it is important to remember that you got guys in that defensive backroom like Damani Jackson, Xavier Brown, Dejon Lee, Chuck McDonald. Not exactly sure when Chuck McDonald is actually going to be on campus for Alabama, but I would assume summertime, usually those summer enrollees get in there, they start taking classes and stuff. So maybe by that June 13th time, he will be on campus. And I would assume that, you have a lot of those California boys in there. That's definitely going to help Alabama's chances in making Tuscaloosa feel more like home for Brandon Arrington. Like I said, he is a 5-star athlete in this class, number 9 player overall, number 1 athlete, number 1 player out of the state of California. Like I said, Oregon, USC has really been getting a lot of buzz here recently. Been taking spring visits to those campuses as well, and it does kind of make sense. He's a West Coast guy, so it really does make sense there. But man, one thing about this kid, he is fast as hell. He broke multiple track records this summer that have been set by multiple Olympians. He ran a 10.21 100-meter dash, broke that record. That was Michael Norman's record for that event. He was a former Olympian. In that same event, he ran a 20.44 20-meter dash. This kid can absolutely fly. And a guy that you guys probably know, Noah Lyles, also an American Olympian there. He also broke his 200-meter record there that he set back in 2016 at the Arcadia Invite. Arrington ran a 20.35 200-meter dash. Lyles back in 2016 ran a 20.48. So, man, this kid can absolutely fly. Number 9 overall player in this class. Whoever ends up landing Brandon Arrington is going to be a very, very happy camper in this 2026 recruiting cycle. We'll continue with a couple more in-state players here in just a second and also get to some transfer portal rumors for you guys. But I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Fanatics. You guys can get set up for Alabama season next year. Go ahead and go over to Fanatics. Get up to 30% off right now by going to chatsports.com/Alabama jerseys and get set up with your Alabama football gear today. You can get alumni jerseys, you can customize jerseys, or you can get jerseys from players on the current team right now. They're all up to 30% off. I think I even saw a Ryan Williams jersey that was like $45 off or something like that. So they got some really good deals going on there at Fanatics. Go over to chatsports.com/Alabama jersey. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. Should also be a little clickable link over there in the corner of your screen. All right, Alabama outside linebacker coach Christian Robinson is down in Mobile today visiting two of the top edge prospects for the Crimson Tide. You've got Anthony Jones in that 2026 recruiting cycle, and then JaBarrius Garror in that 2027 cycle as well. Now, one thing about Anthony Jones is he has not yet announced any official visit dates yet. You know, he also plays other sports. He plays basketball. So, he hasn't been very active in terms of, visiting other schools for those spring visits. So just kind of have to wait and see when he ends up making those official visits. I would assume 5-star player, 16 overall, one of the top players in the state of Alabama, is going to end up making official visits at some point. JaBarrius Garror as well, he is committed to Alabama in that 2027 class. So still a long way to go for him, but, you always want to make sure that you just keep those relationships solid and make sure that he knows that he is a priority for Alabama. So let me know here in the comments section, Anthony Jones, man, one of the top priorities for Alabama in this 2026 recruiting cycle. Do you think Alabama will land him in this class? Let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments section of today's video. Let's get into some transfer portal targets here. Delvin Gully, Alabama A&M defensive back. Pete Nakos yesterday reported that he was on campus visiting Alabama. One thing of note, though, Tim Watts of BamaOnLine also reported that if Alabama were to land him, he would be a walk-on. I'll get back here in a minute to why that is really notable, but pretty decent player here, man. He had 29 tackles, 2 interceptions as a freshman here in 2024. Also had 4 PBUs there. And he is also from Saraland, Alabama. So he's a former teammate of Ryan Williams. That would probably be a pretty solid thing of getting him on this Alabama team. But you probably, look, like right now your defensive back room is really solid. So probably not going to add him as a scholarship guy. And really, you don't need another defensive back, but adding another guy as a walk-on depth piece never really hurt anybody. And I do think it's notable, that Alabama would only be taking him as a walk-on because currently right now, Alabama is at 84 out of 85 scholarships, which to me, that is very notable because there is one other position here that I think Alabama could, benefit from adding at least one more player in the transfer portal. And I don't think this, there's been no reporting yet if Alabama is actually interested in this guy, but defensive lineman out of Oklahoma State, defensive tackle Justin Kirkland entered the transfer portal last week. Pete Nakos ended up reporting that. I believe it was Pete Nakos. Might have actually been Hayes Fawcett. Either way, he spent the last 2 seasons with Oklahoma State. Before that, he was at Utah Tech. He is from Utah as well. Played in 14 games in 2023, where he started the final 6 games. And last season, he played in all 12 games for Oklahoma State, but he only started one of those games. And I do think Alabama could, use one more option on the interior of that defensive line. I think he's listed right now at 345 pounds, so a really, really big body that you could use there in the interior. In 26 games, he's been all right. 40 tackles, 17 TFLs, also has got a sack, gets his hands up as well with 2 pass breakups as well. And when you look at this Alabama defensive line, I think you like what you have. Heard a lot of positive things about Edric Hill's development as well. Jeremiah Beeman, James Smith, Tim Keenan, those guys there on the interior are really solid options for Alabama, but I don't think it would hurt anybody if Alabama used that last scholarship spot to at least add one more nose guard. Just having some depth there behind Tim Keenan, I don't think that would hurt anybody. If you guys made it to the end of today's video, you are a real one. Help us out. Go ahead and drop a like on today's video.